Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Formula One 2021 League. This is race number 12. This is Australia. Going into this weekend, if I hadn't done any time trials, I probably would have told you that this is not one of my better tracks. It is a very slippery track. However, once I did my time trials, I realized that I was about a second faster than everyone else, and I think it's partly because of my setup, obviously, but it's also the line I was taking. I was very quick. So I've decided before we even started this, I'm going straight on the mediums, kind of similar to my strat in the other races. I want to go on mediums, and then if I fall down the grid a little bit, I have a very good strat to go medium soft. The softs will be extremely fast towards the end, and if I qualify first, I'm still on the best strat, and I'm probably on par with everyone else, because a second is usually how much time you gain by being on the softs compared to the mediums. So if everyone is around the same speed as me and I'm on a quote-unquote worse, longer lasting tire, it should be favorable for me. So that's what I'm going to go for here. I'm going to put up the points here. By the way, we did get second place in Imola, so we have a 39-point advantage in the Drivers' Championship. And for the Constructors, we are dead tied with Alfa Romeo. So as per the usual, we are going for every single point possible for the Constructors race. I think at this point I have a good shot of winning this race, and that's what my goal is from here on out, as your goal should be anyways when you're racing. So here is the very first qualifying lap. So on to my very first qualifying lap. You can see that I am on the yellow walled mediums, but you can also see that there's only 5 minutes left in the session, and this is not a mistake. I have been practicing on the soft tires that I'm allocated for in the qualifying session, and then going straight into the pit lane, not trying to complete any laps on the softs. I really want these mediums to be in the best shape possible, and I think that I can beat everyone, or as many people as possible, on my very first try on the mediums. So is it a bit cocky? Sure, but I could also go for a second lap if need be, and the less tire wear there is on my mediums, the faster they will be, because they will last longer than everyone else's. So that is my goal here. As we're about midway around the track, you can see my line is very much taking the curbs nicely. We're going to take a little bit of this curb, and we're going to go on the smooth green for a bit and power out down this straight. This is going to be one of the most tricky parts of the tracks. It's very easy to invalidate. There's also an invisible wall you can hit, so you want to do a hard brake into the left and a good X here, just a little bit of curb. Too much curb, you're going to slide out, but your exit is so important. So pretty good, I think. It maybe could have been a bit faster, but I don't need to risk it. A spin here probably means I'm not getting any lap in. So we're just going to see how will I do. And this is a little wide. I just barely stay on the line. It is really close there. And also a bit of a lockup, as I'm used to I'm used to the time trials on the softs. And then down the straight. And this is where your setup can really harm or help you based on how much straight line speed you have. But you can see I set pole position with a 1:23.6. And I'm going to try and make that stick. And I'm not going to put any more wear. You can see there's 2% on those tires.
Please nerf restricted.
What was that? 1:23.6. So I'm 1/10 faster than Chills on mediums than he is on softs. What was it? A 1.2 difference?
Fucking ridiculous. It's supposed to be, theoretically, for the average driver.
And as you can see here, only Sinful managed to pass us in the end. He was only 2.3 tenths faster than us on softs. And as you heard in that little blurb there, the softs should be 1.2 seconds faster. So that shows just how much speed I had on these tires. I am very quick apparently around Australia. Now, on to the race itself. You can see we are setting up here. I've got my fuel loaded. The mediums, look how long they last. That's what I want. I want to make them last as long as possible and maybe do a bit of an overcut so my softs are extremely fast towards the end. This is where strategy can really come into play. We know I'm going to be really fast on those softs, so even if I lose 3-4 positions, I think I'm okay to retake the lead. And now we have 5 red lights at Australia. And it's away we go. And the revs are a little awkward. You can see them go up, down, up, down. I'm trying to see if I can get enough traction to Sinful here to dive in the first corner. I decide to back out, but he still needs to leave me enough space, and I get a little bit of oversteer, and now I've got 2 cars on my backside. Chills is really close to me. He has to go on the grass to avoid contact, and he is racing Quasar Phil, my teammate, into this corner. He looks down the inside, but the corner is shut by me as I take control of it, and it's a hectic start, but right now we have a Williams 2-3, and we're going to try and make that last as Sinful is trying to fly away. But remember, even though he's on tires that are theoretically a second or just over a second faster, I should be able to keep up with him based on my pace before. But right off the rip, you can see he's gaining so much time. He's doing what those tires need to do, especially as I'm competing with everyone else, taking a little too much curb. And now he's going to go super far ahead, but we get to catch up later as his softs start to die out. So now a pretty big jump to lap number 7. You'll notice that my teammate and Chills both had an issue and they have fallen out of their position. So now it's Checker behind us, and you can see that Sinful has gone into the pits. I was just starting to gain some time on him a little bit, but he did a really good stint on those softs. But now it is on me to make sure I can get a good amount of pace. You can see I've still got some battery. I'm going to use a little bit on this lap. While he's not really doing an undercut, based on our difference in strategies, it's an undercut towards me, so he could get on the mediums and be on faster mediums, especially as I'm a little slidey now. My mediums are definitely worn, and you saw at the beginning just how much traction they are going to lose. But importantly, behind us, you can see that Moroz has a 3-second penalty, and he's also further behind. I don't know. I think he started on softs. I'll have to double check that. So he might just be net 3 seconds behind me. I'm not 100% sure. But we'll have a look at that later as we get to it. So on to the end of that lap, you can see that Moroz and I are both going to go into the pit. So he did start on the mediums, and he's actually only 3 seconds behind me. Sinful is 21 seconds behind me, so it looks like I am going to gain time. But notably here, Moroz gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is a 5-second penalty. And because no one was really around him, I think that's going to stick. It's very hard to not say you weren't speeding in the pit lane. You really have to prove it, and it's extremely difficult. So he's not really in a contention for our race. So Dumpster's ahead of us, but I believe he needs to pit still. And there's Sinful, who was 1.7 seconds ahead of us when he pit. And because of our strategy, we gained an entire second onto him. And now we are also on faster tires. And it's just going to be butter for us. This is exactly what we want. We're in his DRS. We're right on him. Our tires have way more grip and way more speed. So now it's time to put all that talk I've done at the beginning to the test. So now just a few corners ahead to save some time. You can see I'm still about the same distance behind Sinful. I do need to pass him as soon as possible, as my tires are theoretically much faster right now. His will be much faster at the end. And you can see as we go through the chicane, he gets a really bad exit. So we're going to put on the overtake, try to go around his left. He covers it off a bit, and we're going to go into the wall, and it's tires on the side, and somehow we get away with no damage and manage to stay in his DRS range. Really fortunate to have both tires hit the wall rather than a wing and not have a tire snap off as well. So we are still in this, and I'm going to show a bit of a replay here just so you can see what happened in case you're thinking that he cut me off there. It really is just that I have so much pace, and he is coming from the racing line, which goes from the right to left, and he stays on it. But because I have so much pace going in beside him, I have to avoid contact. It is on me to do that, not Sinful. So no fault from his part. It was just unfortunate that I had just so much pace, and maybe if thinking back on it, if I saw where the racing line was going, I maybe could have gone to the right earlier, but I think I would have hit him, so I think I had to lift there regardless. But now back to where we were. The DRS is helping me close that gap yet again, and the hunt is still on. I still have a lot of battery here, and we're going to be right on Sinful. I'm not sure if he gets DRS from Totally here, who's ghosted from being a back marker, but we are going to pass Sinful, and we are going to retake the lead a lot smoother this time. And you can see my softs are only at 5% with 5 laps left. So considering how much racing they're done, we are just going to be so much faster as we purple the first sector, and already we are almost a second ahead of Sinful. So again, those softs are about 1.2 seconds faster. in the time trials, I was around 1 second faster. So if I can manage that theoretically with a bit of racing involved and tire wear, I should be about 2 seconds a lap faster here. So I take a really weird angle, and I'm going to get a 3-second warning. I really have no idea. I must have been distracted there, and all of a sudden, even though I'm going to probably set fastest lap right here, it is not going to count because I technically cheated to do it. I gained an advantage, and now I need to clear 3 seconds of Sinful if I want to win this race. So now on to lap number 11. You can see while I do have fastest lap, I need to now beat it if I want to get that point. You can also see that Moroz has just passed Sinful there. I almost said Creamy Coco, which is his name in this one. Even though he's got 11 seconds difference, Moroz is on the soft tire, so he's going to be much faster. So rather than Sinful get in his way and slow him down and cause those penalties to push him back even further, he's allowing him to get ahead to mitigate that damage and maybe slip into his slipstream, his DRS to gain some time. So really good teamwork there by the Alfa Romeos trying to stay competitive in this one. And if anything wrong happens to me, they want to stay as close behind me as possible because that still results in Sinful winning the race. But what this does mean is while Moroz is the faster car on the softs, Sinful is going to fall within 4 to 5 seconds. So my 3-second penalty right now is not relevant to the race. Unless I get another penalty. So that's basically, I think, what they're waiting out for here as we go into the last few laps. And with nothing else changing in those laps, we are at the end of lap number 15. Virtually nothing happened. You can see Sinful fell a little bit as Moroz got more distance. But we are going down the final straight to take our win in Australia, our first win in the last couple races as Chills took the last two. This is so important for the drivers. Really, really important for the constructors. And you'll see as Moroz falls down the table as his 11 seconds get applied. So that's really going to help out our drivers. I can't remember if any penalties did get removed for him. We'll know in the points section, which I'm going to put up right here. And you can see that we have extended our lead to 50 points in the drivers, and we are now 1 point ahead in the constructors. So important. And I can see Moroz got 9 points, which I believe is his 4th place finish, either with fastest lap or not. I can't remember if he got fastest lap. My fastest lap was removed as I exceeded track limits when I did it, and then I never beat that time, so that is going to stick as it is. And as we come on to the podium, you can see our classic celebration there. And you can see Checker, who is in 3rd, is in the Mercedes because he joined late. So that's Checker. He's in the Ferrari. The points will get adjusted there. But we have 4 races left. So even though I'm 50 points ahead of Moroz, he can still catch up. If I get a couple DNFs, he'll be within, theoretically, 8 points of me. So I have to be on my guard. I have to be racing hard. Next one is USA. It's a track where I think a lot of people enjoy the circuit. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope to see you guys there. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.